The world is unraveling, and that means a bleaker future, including the use of nuclear weapons. Will the U.S. stop this unfolding, frightening scenario? Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. 3 shocking pieces of news came out whose awful implications have hardly registered yet. One blockbuster burst forth from South Korea, where its foreign minister declared that an independent nuclear deterrent was, quote, not off the table. We must prepare for all possible scenarios. Another stunner emanated from Germany. Friedrich Merz, the man who will be Germany's next chancellor, refuses to rule out his country pursuing its own nuclear arsenal. In the meantime, he said, talk should begin about expanding the British and French nuclear deterrents to cover Europe. The third shocker was from Poland's premier, Donald Tusk. He announced that Warsaw must consider nuclear options. His reasoning echoed the deepening anxiety of numerous other countries, quote, a profound change of American geopolitics, end quote. That is, the free world can no longer rely on U.S. leadership to keep the world from descending into chaos, where it's every country for itself, a surefire formula for the kinds of instability that could well lead to a world war, just as it did twice in the last century, and also a poor global economy. The widespread possession of nukes just about guarantees they'll be used for the first time since 1945. Loose talk from Washington officials about abandoning NATO, cutting the defense budget 8% a year, and ditching Ukraine inflames existential fears. What the U.S. is doing with Ukraine recalls to European minds the nightmare of the 1938 Munich Conference, where Britain and France abandoned Czechoslovakia to Nazi Germany, presaging World War II. The same deepening worries are afoot in Asia. That's why you had that announcement from South Korea concerning nukes, as it wonders if the U.S. is taking a powder with Beijing over Taiwan and leaving Asian countries to fend for themselves. You can bet that Japan is harboring similar thoughts. Thanks to wise U.S. policies such as NATO, the Marshall Plan, security agreements with other countries, especially Japan, consistently reducing trade barriers, guaranteeing freedom of navigation of the Earth's waterways, the world experienced a once inconceivable age of unprecedented prosperity with no global conflict. Europe, for example, had no major war under the Pax Americana until Putin's invasion of Ukraine. This long period of peace on the continent hadn't happened since those days of the Roman Empire nearly 2,000 years ago. It is true that the period since 1945 has had plenty of crisis and a near-miss nuclear war with Moscow during the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. But in the course of human history, it has been an astonishing period of progress and innovation. Problems in this century of lagging economic growth have come from ignoring the basic sources of prosperity, sensible taxation and regulation, and sane levels of spending. Also, the Pax Americana has been undermined by chintzy defense spending by the U.S. and our allies, as if a rules-based international order can exist without effective enforcement. What will in retrospect be regarded as a golden age could come to a close as the U.S. recedes from its role as the leader of the free world. Officials and experts seem to grasp that since 1945, we have been paying to maintain the Pax Americana, of which we have been the greatest beneficiary. Ending the Pax Americana will be an immense tragedy for us and for the rest of humanity. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.